Hey, this is Coach Ash. Let's get started with some SAT shortcuts. But before that, remember we have live YouTube sessions right on this channel every week, sometimes even 2 or 3 times a week. Just subscribe to this channel and you will get notified when we have these sessions. Now remember, in these sessions, we work together, so it's a lot of fun to work with other people, learn this way, you'll remember more and you will perform better. Now, let's get started with our SAT shortcuts.
Anytime you see a rectangle or a geometric name, you simply want to draw it first. So they're saying a rectangle has a length that is 15 times its width. So width is right here and it's usually represented by W, which is also what they have here. And then the length is 15 times. Remember, times means 15W, and this is your length, 15W. All right. Now the function y is given by 15W times W. So it's this length times this width here, and the y is the area. So which makes sense, right? Because this is length. Length times width is the area. But that's not important. What they're asking is, which of the following is the best interpretation of 15W? So this is more like a confirmation. This is like length times width, which is the area. That's all they're saying. And then what is 15W? Is the length. So there you go, the length of the rectangle in feet. Now my question for you is, what is the width of the rectangle? What is the variable here? Whatever is given to you, what's the width of the rectangle? So post your answers and let's see if you got it. And let's move on. Which expression is equivalent? So they're asking you this part is equal to which one. So anytime you see exponents and you see this part here and there's not a plus, okay, there's nothing here between the parentheses, means there's a multiplication. When you see this kind of a problem, you just simply write down M4 here and copy down this M to its side. So it's kind of like grouping like terms. You put this M here, but see there's nothing here. If there's nothing here, that means there's an invisible 1. Then you group these two together, Q4 and Q5. And then finally you group these together. So that's the first step. You group them together, and then what you do is, because they are multiplied, remember they're multiplied here because there's a multiplication sign here. So they're multiplied. Remember, you have to memorize this, and this gives you M, and you add 4 and 1, you get 5. Right? Immediately you can see this is the answer because there's the only M which has a 5 here, but you can quickly even solve this. You got Q to the 9 and Z squared. Remember, just doing this will save you tons of time. So that's all you need, but here's the answer. Now see if you can solve this one and tell me which of these is correct. So post your answers in the comments. Remember, all you need to do is look at the M, look at this M here, add the exponents, and there's your answer. Another easy question. Anytime you're asked how many solutions this system has, the word solution means intersections or cuts. So how many times do they cut each other? You've got this line, you've got this line, it cuts it here and they cut it here. So this is the cut, this is the cut. So there are 2 of them, and so this is the answer. Now you try to find the solutions to these curves. Remember, this is one of the curves and this is the other curve. So what is the solution or the intersection of these curves? So post your answers in the comments and let's move on. Anytime you see an inequality and you see another inequality here, all you want to see is, can you divide this to get any of these? And now let's think about how we can do this. So you've got 6 and 9 and 12 here. So kind of what number goes into all of them? 6, 9, and 12. The number that goes in all of them is 3. So therefore, let's just try our luck. Let's just divide this by 3. Let's divide this by 3 and let's divide this by 3. So what do you get? 6 divided by 3 is 2. Keep the x. 9 divided by 3 is 3. Let's copy down this negative sign. Keep this the same. And 12 divided by 3 is 4. And there you go. This is your answer. Remember how we quickly found out what's the greatest common factor and just divided by it to get this answer. Now you try to solve this inequality and which of these answers would work. So remember, find the greatest common factor, divide by that number, and then you will find the answer. So post your answers in the comments and let's move on. What's the SAT keyword here? It is system of equations. System means you've got two equations and you want to solve them. So the easiest way to do this is y is equal to y. So you see this y is equal to this y is equal to this, which means you can just set this is equal to this. So remember, this method you call is the y is equal to y, which means take this y, whatever is here, take this y, whatever is here, and set them equal to each other. So let's do that. X squared plus x, I'm taking this value, this is equal to this value. So now it's easier to solve because you first want to find out what can you cross out from both sides. You see, you have an x here and x here, so you can subtract the x's, right? And this goes away. Or simply, you don't even need to do that. If you want to speed up, you can just cross these out, right? So you've got x squared is equal to 1. Now this is very important. Anytime you see the square quantity, you want to take the square root of this. So this means x is equal to the square root of 1, but don't forget a plus and a minus sign. This is a very important idea here. So x is equal to plus minus 1. And what's the square root of 1? You can use a calculator. Obviously, you know the answer. It's just 1. And so the values of x are plus 1 or minus 1. Remember, this plus minus means it's plus 1 or. So the plus minus means or x is equal to -1. And this is your answer. So this is the easy answer to this question. Remember, the main idea is system of equations and the y is equal to y method. Now you try this system of equations using the y is equal to y method. Remember, what you want to do here is set this equal to this and then try to solve it and find the answer. It's one of these, and then post your answers in the comments. Here's an easy shortcut to solve this problem. So anytime you see equivalent, you can replace the x with a 0. What I mean by this is very simple. Everywhere you see x, so remember, I'm going to put x is equal to 0, but really what you do is just cross out the x terms. So how easy is that? Even here, you cross out all of the x terms. So you've changed this algebra problem to an arithmetic problem. So p is equal to 4, v is equal to 5. Can you find this? P is equal to 4, v is equal to 5, pv is 20. And 2 times p is 2 times 4, which is 8. I'm going to copy down this negative and 2 times p. And then plus v is 5. How easy is this? 20 minus 8 is 12. Plus 5 gives you 17. Which of these is 17? It's this one. And you've got the answer. Remember, this shortcut is super useful to solve this problem. But if you're aiming for a higher score, you also want to know how to solve this in full. So hopefully you are paying attention now. We're going to solve this fully because this will help you to solve a much bigger type of problem also. So what's PV? PV means you multiply 3x plus 4 and v is x plus 5. Let's just look at PV colon. What is this? So let's expand this. Remember, this is foiling, right? And foiling means first. So let's multiply 3x times x is x squared. Outer, 3x times 5 is 15x. Inner is 4x. And then last is 4 times 4 is 20. And then let's write this down. You've got 3x squared plus 19x plus 20. So that's PV. Now what's 2p? Remember, 2p is 2 times this value. So it's 2 times 3x plus 4. That gives you distribute this. Remember, this is more like a distribution problem. So 2 times 3 is 6x plus 2 times 4 is 8. And then the last thing is v. Just copy down this v here. So all we need to do is you've got PV, which is this value. 3x squared plus, I'll write this down here, 3x squared plus 19x plus 20. And then you subtract the 2p, which is minus 6x minus 8. And then you add the v, which is plus x plus 5. So when you add all of these terms, these like terms, you get 3x squared and 9. Remember, there's a 1 here, invisible 1. So 9 minus 6 plus 1 gives you 9 minus 6 plus 1 gives you 14. So you can remember, feel free to use your calculator. And 20 minus 8 plus 5 gives you 17. And so still, this is your answer. Now I got another simple problem for you, so nothing complicated like this. 4x minus 1 and 4x plus 1. This value is gonna, when you FOIL it, what is the number that you get here in front of the x squared? And what is the number that you get in front of your x? And then what is the number that you get here? Sometimes these are represented as A, B, and C. So my question for you is, what is A plus B plus C? A plus B plus C is how much? So try to post your answer here. This will be very helpful for you to just FOIL it and get the answer. We will encounter this special type of a problem very soon. So it's good that you practice it right now. Please post your answers. Remember, posting your answers, commenting it will help you to retain this material more. Be sure to solve these problems this way. Alright, this is a nice problem because many people don't know how to solve this. The hint is, if you see 3 terms, remember this is called a term. If you see 3 terms and you see a word like factor or polynomial, what you want to think about is 4a squared. You take the square root of 4, which gives you 2. Remember, square root of 4 is equal to 2. And square root of a squared, this is something important. You write it as a. In other words, 2a quantity, the whole squared, is equal to 4a squared. Hopefully this makes sense to you. If it doesn't, post it in the comments and I'll explain this further for you what this means. So you've got 4a squared here. And then let's look at this one and see if you can find it the same way. 25b squared. What number squared gives you 25b squared? Remember, you have to take the square root of 25 and also the square root of b squared. So what value would you get now? You will get 5, because 5 times 5 is 25, and b, because b times b gives you b squared. So you've got these two quantities, and this thing inside is the real gold. You've got 2a and 5b, and then copy this plus here. So this is the answer, 2a plus 5b, right here. And that gives you your answer. How easy is that? Remember, this strategy is going to be very useful for the other future harder problems. So be sure to memorize this, and then you'll use this for some harder problems and boost your score. Now you try to find out what's the factor of this. So instead of this problem, you've got this one. So how would you do it? Try to find the square root of this, and copy down this and let me know what's the answer here. It's a very easy problem. Please try to solve these problems so you'll remember it better. Otherwise, you're just watching and you'll forget it. So please solve this.